Howdy friends, Tadas here with Insomniac Next Door. This will be an interesting video for those of you who have various gut issues and suspect that your insomnia is related to your gut health. And this is exactly what I've been suspecting for a long time, but didn't know quite on the best way to proceed on fixing it, because I blamed most of my issues on the mercury. But in this video I've decided to do an experiment this time and take a different probiotic, which is a soil-based probiotic, and I had very surprising, shocking results. And so I'd like to guide you through this process and show you day by day of things that I've experienced, and I think you'll find it pretty fascinating. So why did I decide to experiment with probiotics anyways? Before, I had nothing but bad experiences, and usually they would stir up insomnia in the first place, and I swore to myself to never touch them again. I'm not going to mess with probiotics anymore. But later on I learned that I may be experiencing SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or candida issues of some sort of intestinal issues that a probiotic was making it worse, right? I felt more bloating and more stimulation and so on and so on. And later I learned that various types of probiotics can stir up histamine, which is a stimulatory neurotransmitter. So again, I decided to avoid it. But recently I came across a soil-based probiotic, and research behind it is very interesting. But first of all, whether you know it or not, if you're an insomniac, you have serious gut health issues, no matter whether you're experiencing it or not. And it has to do with your microbiota, or bacteria in the gut. There are some sleep researchers in Sweden university that did a study that suggested that after just 2 nights of insomnia, it reduced the participants' certain strains of bacteria decreased by 50%. So you can imagine what a couple of sleepless nights would do for a bacteria, and then what it would do for us, the ones that are experiencing it for months or not years, right? Then friendly bacteria, without being counteracted by the good bacteria, tend to act as disease-causing pathogens. When they don't get what they want, they can release neurotoxins like ammonia that affects our sleep and increase our stress and brain function. And I've certainly noticed that and learned afterwards that it's true that unfriendly gut bacteria can create so-called endotoxins, which can further overload our liver and increase our sleep issues even worse. So anyways, why soil-based biotic, right? Why I decided to try one. And this one is by the company called it's called MegaSporeBiotic, and it's by Microbiome Labs, touted highly online by various people. The proponents of these soil-based probiotics claim that most of the regular prebiotics on the market is total garbage, that it gets destroyed basically in our stomach environment, and even worse, it can feed the pathogenic bacteria in our small intestine, making things much worse, right? And soil-based probiotics have a natural seed-like structure that makes them harder than lacto-based probiotics. Therefore, soil-based probiotics survive the journey through our intestinal tract. Basically, they form spores, which can withstand stomach acid, bile salts, and pancreatic enzymes, and would normally destroy beneficial bacteria. So these don't get colonized in the small intestine and feed the bacteria already growing there. Instead, the soil-based probiotics would go straight to the large intestine and colon, where they can support health by helping balance the friendly bacteria, increase food absorption, and so on. There's a lot of interesting claims, but it would take too long for me to go and through them. Feel free to go online and research this yourself. It's a fascinating, very interesting topic. It's basically it's our gut health that is the source of major diseases. So anyways, So here's my report as I go along, and I'll go and report as these things transpire. So enjoy for a few minutes, and I'll see you soon at the end of this video. There we go, day 1, MegaSporeBiotic. I already told you how apprehensive I am about this, right? It sounds very promising, makes good sense for me, and I'm going to try it anyways. Although I've read some real bad experiences about it, but I guess there's nothing out there without one or bad or fewer experiences. But overall, it sounds pretty good. So I'm going to try it and keep track of it. So cheers. Day 2. I'm just kidding. No effect yet. I'm doing also a detox round, a chelation with mercury, so could have had a little bit of bloating from that. Heck knows at this point, but so far so good. Sleep hasn't changed. Everything else pretty much the same. We'll report another day. It's day 4. I skipped day 3 because it was uneventful, but now I started noticing there's more action in my lower abdomen, where the large intestine is. There definitely is some sort of like a percolating, bubbling movement going on, and bowels are a bit more active. So there's something definitely going on, and here we go. I'll report when there's more. So it's day 7, feeling a bit stimulated after that last detox round. So doing a couple of things concurrently is a bit difficult to evaluate these things, but that's just the nature of my reality right now. So overall digestion is pretty good. There's not much constipation. It felt like a little bit, a day or two, but I think also I'm taking chaga extract, and that helps a lot with moving the bile and moving the bowels overall. So I think so far so good, fingers crossed. Sleep hasn't taken a hit yet. I was very worried about that histamine load. It might increase like it did with regular probiotics. So I think so far so good. There's a slight increase in appetite, and a very good, nice feeling in the morning that I'm having this kind of calm stomach. I feel like comfort there. And quite a while ago, after a night, I would wake up with this churning and bad feeling in my stomach. I felt kind of like a burnt out feeling. And I think the probiotics are definitely helping things to digest properly and produce less toxic metabolites. So day 14, 15, I'm noticing better tolerance of certain foods. Especially I feel less stress on my liver, which is very nice. And overall digestion is better, and there's an increase in appetite that's definitely noticeable. I like that a lot. So now I can definitely tell, having an increase in energy and better food tolerance, that all of my issues come from the gut here. So I just have to solve this puzzle. But I feel like I'm far away from it because I'm developing some negative symptoms as well, and some of them are I wake up, I'm unable to fall asleep, and I'm hot at night, and I feel my heart palpitations also. So it's definitely stressing me and my body, and which is very sad, unfortunately. And because of that, I've lost sleep. I have a pretty poor, crappy mood as well. But I'm making it up for it with a bentonite clay mask. And the reason I'm using it is because I bought the wrong one. I bought the one for a binding agent for mopping up the toxins in the gut, and I should have bought the calcium one, but I bought sodium one. So I'm gonna make up for all my lost years due to sleeplessness with compensating for my beauty. So anyway, it's 4:30 in the morning. I woke up at 4, all stimulated and wired, and cannot sleep anymore. So yesterday I ate some things that I don't normally eat because of additional glutamate or histamine load, and I ate 2 potatoes and a piece of cheese, some mushrooms. And this is what happens. The food sensitivities can be brutal, especially if your bucket of certain things is full, like glutamate or histamine, so to speak. And this is where I feel like I have to end the probiotic, unfortunately, because I feel like it's adding to my histamine load. Now that I think of it, I don't think I slept one night ever since starting it without a antihistamine, either regular or drowsy. And I always thought I'm dealing with some other issues overall, and that's why I had to take it, like some detox rounds sometimes stir histamine for me. But at this point, I've experimented long enough to notice that I cannot get off the antihistamine, and I believe, and I found some other opinions online about this SporeBiotic, that there are 2 strains in there that can add to histamine load. So unfortunately, I have to end the experiment here because I have to sleep. It doesn't pass the bar for me. Even I do this with a very sad heart because I definitely feel like there's benefits, and I was experiencing a bit more energy, and my detox rounds went smoother, and I recovered faster. So overall, a very hopeful supplement for someone who doesn't have histamine issues. So I might come back to it in the future, but for now, it's finissimo for me, and I have to move on to another experiment, which is very exhausting, but this is what we have to do here to get well and find other solutions. So, okay, bye for now. So it's been almost 3 weeks since that onset of serious insomnia, and I've been a total mess. And that I've not known how to handle it with antihistamines, also sometimes benzos, Ambien, sedating antihistamines. I'd be a total mess. It's been absolute crisis here, going back to my early years. So it's mind-blowing how dangerous this could be for somebody who wouldn't know how to handle this kind of response from what seems to be like an innocent probiotic. So, yeah, I don't know what to say. It's caused me a lot of suffering. Only for the past few nights I took some other meds to be able to get some sleep a bit, but it's been crazy here. Anyways. So, as you can see, it turned out a total disaster for me. Another one bites the dust. It's been a month since I stopped the darn thing, and I'm still experiencing this activated feeling where it just kind of runs from my gut through my back down this right kind of side into my brain, and it's really just activating the heck out of me, and I can't sleep because of it. And I've been managing it with with various things I'll tell you about in a second. But first of all, the good things, as you probably noticed, I had experienced better digestion and faster digestion. I noticed an improvement in appetite. I would wake up in the morning like starving, versus before I was like, I wasn't that hungry. Things were going slow, and now I was like just looking forward to go downstairs and grab some food, and I had less fatigue and more like strength in my abdomen, and I felt like a lot of fatigue was coming from my abdomen. So I definitely was very, very hopeful, as you saw when I started it. And then of course the proverbial, hit the fan, and I felt it was stressing my heart. I felt like, heart palpitations increasing, and feeling hot and stressed at night. I was just restless, just kind of turning and turning and turning, and just hyperventilating a little bit, and just felt like my heart was very uneasy. of course, that hit my mood very fast, and I got brain fog because of that. And that massive insomnia was just a deal killer for me. It was just, I checked online and some other forums and gut health forums, and there was one other lady responded. She said she had a very similar experience, and it took her months to recover. So this is freaking me out because it's been only a month, and I have a buddy who at the same time was also started taking it, and he has an IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and he had a very rough time as well, even though in the very small doses. And he also experienced heart issues, heart palpitations, brain fog, and so on. So this is not a funny thing to play with at all. It's a very strong product. I'm still not sure it's as good as what they tout. And I did start with one pill, as you saw, but then I got a little bit of cramping. I decreased to half a pill for a few days. Once that was gone, I kept going with one pill. And about 2 weeks later, I took two, and right away I had to back off because my sleep crashed right away. And I thought maybe this was just like some freak case and so on, but I should have gotten the signal back then. So I kept taking it. Anyways, they also recommend taking some other products like binders and things that can bind the endotoxins that are released by your gut being reestablished and so on. So this is, I also took a Mega IgG 2000 product from Microbiome Labs, which is basically a colostrum product with all the milk products like casein removed. So it just has an immunoglobulins in there, which are supposed to bind with toxins. I also took some bentonite clay, once again to help bind toxins in case things happen, charcoal, and so on. Nothing helped except heavy doses of antihistamine, sometimes drowsy histamine. I had to take also Ambien, and I had to take some benzos to get through some of the nights because it was insane. I wouldn't have been able to function at all. It was that crazy. So now I suspect that all of my major symptoms, of course, stem from the gut, because I felt improvement, and I also felt how bad it got right away when something got out of balance. So, but I'm also starting to suspect mast cell activation syndrome. And this is a very tough one to diagnose and very tough to treat as well. And unfortunately, this is something I have to look into now. And there's some comments on Fix Your Gut website indicate people are experiencing increased histamine reactions, which also could indicate mast cell disorder. And CFS Remission website claims there are two of the strains on that prebiotic, this MegaSporeBiotic, are histamine forming. So maybe some of us with methylation issues are not breaking down all this extra histamine that's being formed. I have no idea at this point. I wish I knew the answer. I wish I could tell you, but it's such a mystery. If any of you could shed some light, I'm like, you'll be my hero. So MCAS, or mast cell activation syndrome, is the only possible cause that I can think I see having a reaction like this right now, because I'm so triggered by various supplements. At this point, I advise you to use extreme caution using SporeBiotic product, and be very careful. Maybe take like tiny doses if you want to, but if you're an insomniac like me, I would probably just skip it altogether, because these things stick in your gut for 21 days at least. Even if I stop taking it, they're still active. That's why they're also so awesome, and that's also so dangerous, because if something goes wrong, you stop tomorrow, it's not going to go away. You're up for a long ride, which I am still right now in the midst of it. Except maybe it's slightly getting better a month afterwards. So look for a post in the comments where I will keep tabs of how this progresses and when I recover. And also, if there's a video at the end of this video and suggested videos, I might put a video in the future of using probiotics overall and how they could actually help with sleep. So this was my a very interesting and very painful experience, probably one of the most most painful in this saga of looking for solutions. So I highly advise you to do your research if you're going to try it. And if you have questions, comments, welcome them in the comment section. Sleep well. Someday we will. Hang in there. Bye.